Hi everybody, here we are again, sitting in my car, driving for Uber. Letting my car warm up here in Montreal. Today's the 1st of March, Thursday the 1st of March 2018. I just want to give a little video here in the daylight of what I mentioned yesterday about if you're visiting Montreal, things you should know. And first of all, if you're going to get picked up at the airport and you're going to order a Uber, make sure you put in your address completely with the zip code, and at the end of the street you put east or west, because many of the streets in Montreal run east and west, and if you don't put after the name of the street the letter E for east, or the letter W for west, or the letter O for west, because the way it's written here in Montreal, it's French. There's a lot of French things here. It's a bilingual city, and a lot of the applications are in French, so a lot of the streets will have O after a street address, a street name and address with the letter O. O means west in French. It's west, which is O-U-E-S-T. And the reason I'm talking about this is because several people end up going to the wrong location when they put an address in a Uber app. So if you're visiting this city, make sure that your address has the east or west on it. Otherwise, what will happen to you, like what happened to a few girls the other night coming up from California to visit Montreal, I got a call to go pick them up, and I get there and I see these three girls, I forget what time, was late at night, with suitcases on the street in like a center downtown area where there's a lot of like building stores, but there's no residential Airbnb there. There's bars and financial buildings. So I look at these girls like, oh my, that's not normal. All these suitcases this time of night, they're not going to the airport. So I was just kind of curious what that's all about, and it was my call. So I asked them, are you coming or going? And so they said to me that they're coming, and they got dropped off here at the wrong address. And the only reason for that was because the address did not have the letter E or O at the end of it, and so therefore they got dropped off in the west side of the city, and their Airbnb was on the east side. So that's a downer, right? They get dropped off, it's the middle of the night, and all these suitcases, you're in a strange city, standing there like a lump on a log, like a hair on a soup, or whatever. You don't feel comfortable. So remember that if you're coming to Montreal, Montreal is a great city. It's half French, half English. Mostly all the young people are perfectly bilingual, so that's really cool. You'll run into some people who may not speak, if you're English speaking, who may not speak English with facility, or it's pretty rare though. And so the first thing to do is make sure you get your address right by putting in, if you put in the French O for west, yeah, that's a sure bet. So another thing you want to do is put in the zip code if you can find it, or the postal code, as they say here. It's a little bit complicated here, the postal code, in the sense that it's not all just numbers. There's a letter, a number, and a letter, and then there's a number, a letter, and a number. So there's 6 digits in the postal code, and so you have to go from your back and forth on your touch screen from letters to numbers, not like in the US where it's all numbers, so you don't have to change your keyboard to get there. It's a little bit complicated, but it's worth the extra little effort, because you're going to get to your location, because in Montreal there's several places, like for example, that'll have the same street name, but they're not in the same area of Montreal. So Montreal is broken down into different areas, and the zip code will isolate that for you. So I picked up a group of people from a wedding once, and they were here visiting Montreal for one of their friends' weddings, and I was bringing them to their Airbnb, and unfortunately the address that they had put in was like 18th Avenue, but unfortunately there's several 18th Avenues in Montreal, but in different sections of the city. So I arrive at the location of the address. Let's say it was 12347 18th Avenue. So we get there and they're looking, they say, this is not our place. And where they were actually was way on the other side of the city. So it's a good thing I didn't let them get out, and that they recognized this is not the area. So we looked at the real address, and it was in Verdun, which is in a completely other part of the city. And we brought them home safely, which is good, that's a good deal. They got home, but they ended up paying a lot more than they would have if the address had been correct, because we're going to, you understand that, right? We're going to the other side of the city. And so, end up paying approximately double, perhaps, in this case. And they'd come from far already. So those are things to remember. Step one, you want to enjoy your trip. You come to Montreal, great city to visit. I mean, there's so much stuff to see. I'm going to make another video about some of the highlights that people who have visited here have mentioned to me. And restaurants, etc., bars, other good things, a lot of culture here. Very artistic city. And so the first step, make sure you get that address in. Take the extra effort. Don't get, I will say sucked in, or don't make the mistake of when you're writing an address, suddenly all these addresses pop up. Oh, yeah, that's my address, and you click on it automatically. It may not be your address, because many addresses here are similar, but they're not, but they're in different sections of the city. So please do yourself a big favor and go through the trouble to get the address, whether it's east or west, because the city's divided in two by St. Lawrence Boulevard, which runs north and south. So when at St. Lawrence Boulevard is 0, and everything that, let's say you're going on St. Catherine Street or Maisonneuve Street, these are a lot of big streets in Montreal, they run east and west. St. Lawrence runs north and south. Montreal's an island, and there's water all around it, so it's not that complicated. But like I say, it was 1234 St. Catherine Street. Well, make sure you put in 1234 St. Catherine Street West, or O, or 1234 St. Catherine Street East, or the letter E, because in French and English the letter E, like elephant, is the same for east. East in French is EST. East in English, EAST. So a couple little lessons in French, basic stuff. West is OUEST, that's west in French. So put in the letter O or E and you're going to get to your locations. And I would suggest you add the postal code, because there's certain areas of Montreal that have the exact same name of a street, and they're not necessarily east or west location, because they perhaps run north or south, and the north and south indication is not a I haven't noticed it on the addresses here. Put in the postal code at the end, make sure you get that, and then right away you're sectioned off to your area. That's going to help you a lot, because we want everybody to come here, have a a happy trip, right? You want to start off right. You don't want to start off frustrated. You've taken a long trip on a plane sometimes. You've already had your contradictions to get here. Make sure you get that address in good, and that way everybody's going to be happy. And as a Uber driver, my main goal, pick up people, get them to their destination, get them to their destination as fast as possible, as smoothly as possible, give them a welcome feeling as they get here to Montreal, and start off their trip feeling really good about having come here. And so that's it for today. I'm going to publish as soon as possible, and I wish everybody a great day. God bless. Welcome to Montreal. I can tell you're going to find a lot of nice people here, and that's it for right now. I have a lot to say. I myself moved here. I haven't lived here since 1975 in Montreal, and I moved here at the end of March in 2017. I moved up here. So I'm rediscovering what I knew as a youth. And Montreal's, I would say it's even a better place than it was when I was young, because everybody here, they've grown in the language. Everybody's bilingual. All the youth, they speak perfect French with no accent. Same with the English. They switch back and forth, and it's a really nice thing, because you hear them in English, you're convinced they're English, or if you hear them in French, you're sure they're French. But they switch back and forth. They've been trained since they're kids, so they know both languages perfectly. I'm not saying nobody speaks with an accent. I speak with a bad accent, but I do speak French. But there's other people in that situation, but it's not serious. And because because at least I have enough vocabulary, you know. Anyhow, God bless, love you guys, and I'm waiting to see you come to Montreal. I've had some awesome people come and pick them up in Uber. Really great people from the States, Europe, and California, New York. A lot of people from Boston. I'm going to cut this short because I'm going to go on and on. I'll make another video. Ciao for now. Bye bye.